Hello and welcome to another Betfred Sports video right here in the Quest Media Network studio. Now, of course, there's only one place to start today, and that is in the Premier League, because on Wednesday night, Manchester City cruised to a 5-1 victory at Wolverhampton Wanderers, extending their lead at the top of the table to 3 points. And of course, Peter, they could extend it even further this weekend to 6 points with victory at West Ham.
Yeah, well, Betfred made them odds on to win at West Ham. The title race is looking more or less done and dusted now. The goal difference was so important for City's victory at Wolves. That 5-1 was a tremendous result. Kevin De Bruyne played out of his skin. Why he's not player of the year, I'll never know, because it's going to be embarrassing for those football writers who voted for Mo Salah. I think that's what Guardiola was on about when he said everybody favouring Liverpool. Because really, if City win their titles, they're much more likely to do now. They'll be having egg on the faces. Betfred have City 1-33 now to win, so we're clear that it's going to be City's title. A win at West Ham will more or less do it, because then they've got 3 points. There'll be 6 points clear then, and Liverpool have got 2 games to go, and City's goal difference is so significant at this stage. You can even afford to lose at West Ham and still win the title. So City 1-33 for the title with Betfred. Liverpool, they're drifting now to 10-1, and then we've got the FA Cup.
Absolutely, and we'll touch up on that very shortly. But of course, Betfred owner Fred Dunn will be absolutely buzzing if City do retain the title, because of course he paid out £750,000 on City to win the title back in December. Now, of course, it is FA Cup final weekend. It's Chelsea taking on Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, could potentially secure the quadruple. However, as we touched upon then, the Premier League title is drifting from them. But Peter, this weekend is a massive occasion.
It is. I can see a Chelsea win there. I think Liverpool have been struggling for form of late, and Chelsea have got to go all out to win this, because it's all they've got left. Liverpool, as you say, are in for 4 titles still, or 4 pieces of silverware. More likely 3, I would suggest, because I think the title is going to City. So Betfred have Chelsea 13-5 to win in 90 minutes. Liverpool 11-10, a draw 13-5. And we've got Mo Salah to score the first goal at 10-3. Jota and Mane 5-1. Mane, man of the moment, I would suggest. And then we've got Lukaku, he's 13-2 to score the first goal. But it should be a fascinating encounter between those two on Saturday afternoon. I'm quite looking forward to it as a neutral.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Peter just touched up on it then. Mo Salah in great form this season, as he always is. Fantastic, world-class player. If you fancy him to score 2 or more in the FA Cup final, he's priced with Betfred at 5-1. But just looking at the Premier League, he's the leading goal scorer at the moment. But look at Son at Tottenham Hotspur, unbelievable player as well. He's now just 1 goal behind Mo Salah, having scored 21 this season. Peter, he might take the title away from Salah.
Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Again, more egg on the face of those sports writers. But anyway, so Salah is on 22 Premier League goals. He's 4-9 to win the Golden Boot. And Betfred have Son at 13-8. He's certainly the man in form at the moment, going into the last couple of games of the season. Yeah,
absolutely. And taking a look at the bottom end of the Premier League, relegation-wise, we now know that Watford are down along with Norwich, but there's that final place not up for grabs. There's still a final place for relegation. Leeds United, I think they're the favourites with Betfred to go down at the moment.
Well, they are. They've had a terrible run of form. The 4-6 Leeds to be relegated. Burnley rallying slightly, 11-8. And Everton looking like they're out of it now. They're 12-1 to be relegated. So it's looking like Leeds will be relegated that's where the money is at the moment. And the top 4 race, well, we can't split Arsenal and Spurs. That victory on Thursday night was just a sensational win for Tottenham there in the North London derby, and they're both 5-6 to secure that top 4 place behind City, Liverpool and Chelsea.
Yeah, huge result for Tottenham Hotspur in their quest to secure a top 4 finish. Now, looking at the Sky Bet Championship, the playoffs kick off tonight. It's Luton Town hosting Huddersfield Town. Harry Toffolo, Huddersfield's defender, he's scored 5 goals in the last 7 games for the Terriers, and if you fancy him to score at any point tonight, he's priced with Betfred at 11-1. And then, of course, the other game taking place this weekend is Sheffield United v Nottingham Forest, so some tasty fixtures on the horizon. And of course, on Sunday, it's the final fixtures in the National League. We've got Stockport County hosting Halifax Town. The Hatters needing just a 1 point to secure promotion back to the Football League. And if you do fancy Stockport to win that game, they're priced at 17-20. The draw's 5-2, and Halifax are priced at 11-4. And if you fancy Halifax to gain promotion through the playoffs, they are now priced with Betfred at 8-1. Well, we're going to move into some Betfred Super League news now, because there's a lot of games taking place this weekend. Kicking off tonight, it's St Helens taking on Hull FC. Peter, what are the odds looking like?
Well, we've got a special bet here because we have Paul Sculthorpe, who's a columnist and Betfred pundit. He thinks that St Helens will bounce back from that morale-sapping defeat against Wigan in the Betfred Challenge Cup semi-final last weekend. He thinks they'll bounce back strongly and they'll beat Hull by 12 points, and that James Roby will score the first try. Roby, of course, who a lot of people think should be back in the England setup, having said he's going to retire from International Rugby League. Well, the odds for that are 33-1, so that's what he's going for. But on more regular bets, we've got Saints at 3-10 to win, Hull 3-1. Mark Percival is in great form for Saints, the top winger. He's 8-1 to score the first try. And then we've got Catalans against Warrington. I mean, that is a really tricky encounter for Warrington, who desperately need to get their season underway because they're in the bottom half at the moment. They've invested heavily in Darryl Powell's squad. Catalans, well, they're favourites to win that 2-5. Warrington 21-10. And then on Sunday, Salford also struggling against fellow strugglers, Leeds Rhinos. They're Salford are 4-5 to win, Leeds 11-10, so hardly much of a split there. And to win the Betfred Super League Grand Final, we have Saints still the favourites, 10-11, Catalans 10-3, Wigan 4-1, Warrington still in there, 12-1. Salford, well, they're amongst the rank outsiders now. They're 200-1, along with Wakefield 250-1, and Toulouse, who's struggling all season, 1,000-1.
Excellent stuff. And just finally, there's been another big winner at Betfred this week. Sean Cronick from Worcestershire, a council worker. He scoops a massive prize from a Goliath bet and a big accumulator. Peter, tell us a bit more about this.
Well, they had a 10p Goliath and a £1 accumulator. He picked 8 horses. He went through the card at Chester, virtually winning every single race. So he won on 8 horses, 8 selections, and he won £42,000. So I spoke to this guy. He's 51 years of age, and he's lived with his mum and dad. He spends a lot of time in the bookies. He goes on his mountain bike round to the shop. His other hobby is angling. But he's going to splash the cash on a trip to the Maldives, where he's going to learn to scuba dive and go water skiing.
There you go then.
Talk about a life transformation for him.
Absolutely. Not jealous at all. But as I always say on these Betfred videos, you've got to be in it to win it. So just to recap the fixtures this weekend in the Sky Bet Championship semi-final, first leg, we've got Luton Town hosting Huddersfield Town. And then tomorrow it's Sheffield United taking on Nottingham Forest. In the FA Cup final, we've got Chelsea taking on Liverpool. We've got in the Premier League, we've got West Ham hosting Manchester City. And in the National League, the final fixtures this season, it's a massive one for Stockport County. They're hosting Halifax Town, and of course just a 1 point will seal promotion back to the Football League for the Hatters. And if you do fancy punt on any of those fixtures, Betfred stores are now open, but you can also bet online and via their app.